Hello, everybody. We are live today with my favorite couple in Virginia, Haley and Tyler Morgan. Real quick, Haley, before I introduce you, do you prefer Haley Van Sickle, Haley Morgan, Haley Van Sickle Morgan? What do you want to go by?
We'll just keep it easy. Haley Morgan's perfect.
All right, sounds great. So, Haley Morgan and Tyler Morgan, if you don't already recognize them, they are two young professionals really making their mark in several established industries in the Hampton Roads, coastal Virginia area. Haley is a relationship manager at Hanger Law, where she focuses on both residential and commercial real estate deals. You'll often find her in the heart of the Hampton Roads real estate scene, connecting people and helping them build networks, whether it's on the peninsula or off of it. Tyler Morgan is all about the future of commercial roofing. He is actively involved in groups like ABC Virginia, Hampton Roads Association for Commercial Real Estate, or HRACRE for short, and the Virginia Beach Hotels Association. His involvement gives him a real understanding of what's happening in real estate and construction. And interestingly, with a background as a PE coach, physical education coach. So Tyler puts people first in his business dealings, focusing on building relationships that connect different generations and industries. So welcome to the show, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully I nailed your description there. Happy to have you on.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So today, I really wanted to dive into young professionals making waves in legacy industries, if you will. So you both are in industries that have people that have been in there their whole entire career. And you guys, especially Tyler, you're coming from a background in physical education and then moving to construction. Haley, you were doing tech arc, you were working for digital marketing agency, and now you're working for a legal company. So both of these are, you're going from one industry to a legacy industry. So I really want to touch on what that journey looks like for both of you. I know you guys also network together. So really just have a conversation about how your paths crossed and how you got to where you're at. So I guess first of all, how did you guys meet?
No, you would throw us under the bus there. I DM'd her on Instagram, so social media works.
Yep, sure did. Yep, that's a
Yeah.
good question. So, how do we get? I think Tyler should start because his story is even better than mine. So, Tyler, you go first.
Yeah. So I was a PE teacher. I was actually going. I was going to Norfolk State for physical therapy, and I was a year in playing baseball, and they pulled the program from the company and or from the university, and I was just like, well, now I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I was talking to people, talking to my advisors, and they were just like, well, you got all these science credits, biology credits, you can go be a PE teacher. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess that's what I'm doing. That sounds good. Sounds easy. Sounds fun. I can coach and do all that. Got into teaching for 4 years and just was ready for a change. There wasn't any really like you can being a teacher is great. I mean, I love the kids and everything, but I wanted that more of a goal oriented kind of industry. And me being a PE teacher, the kids didn't get grades or anything like that. But it did allow me to coach, and that's where my heart was. And I loved making an impact in the kids' lives, but I was just ready for a change. And so started searching around, started doing a lot of networking with Haley when she was at Tech Arc, and just trying to meet people and introduce myself and tell them I was looking for a job, kind of thing, and never really found anything that hit home or that was like a must take at that time. I kind of just held out and kept doing what I was doing. And then my dad called me one day. He's been at Roof Services for 25 years. And we were just talking, and he was like, yeah, our boy's retiring this Friday or in a couple months or whatever it was. And I was like, oh, so you guys are going to have a position open. So I looked out for the application and then just kind of made my way in here. And it's like family. I've been around this company for so long, and now it's cool to be a part of it. And so it's just one big family over here. It's been great.
So you had a direct end to your role. Haley, what about you?
Yeah, so my story is a little funny. So I was at TechArc for almost 3 years, and I loved what I was doing over there. And I actually was going after Hanger Law as a prospect, and was 2 meetings in with the founder and owner of Hunter Hanger, and he invited the CEO, Mark Stevenson, who I'm working really closely with now, and they offered me a job when I thought I was going to get a contract signed. So a little bit of a different story there. And I talked with them for a long time. I mean, it was like 6 months, because I literally looked at them with a blank face and I said, why do you want me to come and do this job with you? I know nothing about real estate. I know nothing about legal. I know nothing about any of that. And they said, real estate is relationships and it's community, and you do both of those things really well. And we can teach you what you need to know for the rest of it. So that's how my job came about. So
Wow, that's impressive. So they definitely saw something in you for both of you guys with your careers. They saw something in you and they were willing to work on that and develop that. So I think that right there is a valuable lesson for young professionals is you don't need to be the expert in your thing to be able to get into that thing. As long as you have some good qualities, people will end up picking up on that, ideally.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. They put me in the field when I got here. I was on the roof for 2 months. They said, go learn
Baptized
it
by fire.
before you're selling it, you're going to go learn it. So don't be scared. Take the
And the
risk.
beat of the heat too. He was up there in July and August, figuring it out, learning
Oh, I
it.
loved it though. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
So, what advice would you have for somebody that young professional or somebody that's trying to get into a different industry that doesn't have that 30-year track record of experience that a lot of employers are looking for? How would they navigate that? What works, what doesn't?
I would say, I don't want to cut you off, babe.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say, I think that Tyler and I talk about this all the time. Taking risks is okay, especially at a young age. I think one of our biggest regrets is him not trying something new earlier. He stuck in teaching for 4 years, and we knew that that wasn't going to be his forever career. But we were young, we got married really young, and we had responsibilities and bills, and we didn't know about us both being in a sales role. And so that was kind of our hesitation there. But I am so grateful that he took that risk, even though he had no sales experience, no commercial construction, none of that experience. And he took that risk, and he's had the best training, the best support system around him to make him successful. And I would say for me too, I just told you I was talking to them for 6 months before I took the job. Like, I had a lot of conversations because I was hesitant too, because I didn't know the industry. And I didn't know who were the players in the industry, where to turn, who to look, who to talk to. So having those conversations, making sure you have your support system, making sure you talk to the right people, learn the right things before you enter the industry, that was all super valuable for us. I started networking in the industry before I took the job to make sure that I would enjoy working in this industry with the real estate agents, with the affiliates or the partners. So other people that do what we do, or insurance, or whatever that looks like. So taking those steps and having those conversations and building those relationships with the players in the industry prior to entering the industry, I think was big for both of us.
Yeah, no doubt. And for me, it was terrifying, right? I've never been in any world in this space. So for me, it was just taking a leap of faith, really. Just don't be scared to go out there and try it. I mean, you got something you're interested in, go for it. I mean, you know your value, you know your worth, you know your work ethic. Go do it and go crush it.
Yeah, absolutely. I always butcher saying, so you'll have to bear with me here. But I know that there is this saying that the best time to take a risk was like 100 years ago. The second best time is right now. So there's a lot of people, especially as a business owner, you run into a lot of people that say, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I want to do this with the business, but I'm going to wait a year. I'm going to wait till, the next quarter. I'm going to wait till 2 years from now. And it's like, well, if you started now, if you made this jump now, how far could you be at that point? So that's a great observation.
100%.
So this question kind of hits home for me. I had a few questions written down for you guys, and this one This one I really wanted some honest feedback here. So, have you ever been underestimated because of your age? And if so, how did you flip that into, I guess, an advantage for you?
That's
This
a
is a
good
great question.
question.
It's a great question for Haley. She gets it all the time.
Really?
I got it one time. Yeah, one dude asked me if I was like 19 one day, and he was like, "Dude, do
Okay.
you even know what a roof is? Like, are you 19 years old?" And so I was like, "Well, let's go out and have some coffee and let's talk." Ended up
Was it
selling.
a customer? A
He ended up being a current client of mine. Now I sold him a roof, so yeah, it worked out. It worked out. But yeah, I'll let Haley elaborate on this one. This one's a good one for you.
Yeah. This is a good question, Lauren. I have had this struggle for probably my entire so I have learned that, first of all, taking it as a compliment, but I've learned that, you can't let those things bother you. Not just being young, but being a young woman professional, I think also impacts it as well. And you probably can relate to that as well. Um, People can look at us differently or treat us differently or have different conversations with us because of that. And I think that it took, now being in a management role, it took me a while to get there, even though I knew I was ready. But I think that age kind of played a factor in that as well. So I think that looking at as I'm looking right now at my top 40 under 40, and it has my age, it has 24 right next to it. And it's just like, where I worked so hard. I got my first job at 20 years old, like as a marketing professional in an architecture firm. So, I mean, I think that you can't let your age, you can't let those comments bother you. You can't let it affect your career. You can't let it affect your trajectory. You have to just ignore them, put the blinders on, block the haters out, and make sure that you're continuing to hit your goals, set your goals, and not let it bother you and not let it hinder your confidence in those conversations. And um, I have a gal that I network really closely with in the real estate world, and people will ask me how old I am, and I'll just kind of roll my eyes or just giggle at it, and they'll always call me a baby, and I'm like, well, look at where I am, look at what I know, who I have conversations with. Like I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in what I do. I work really hard to do what I do. So just staying confident and putting the blinders on and blocking the haters out, I think is what I would say for sure.
Yeah, we know how to work. That's all that is. Yeah, we get it all the time. We get it all
Yeah.
the time. People say you're young, but we just know how to work.
Yeah.
We know how to really put our head down and get after it. So
At least in Tyler's case, he said he was able to get the client. Have you ever found a situation where people just aren't will they'll nod their head, they'll smile, they'll be like, okay, sounds good, but they'll just walk away? Are you able to get that sale? Are you able to get that person back into a conversation with you? Or is that somebody that's just not worth the effort? You're gonna just let it be.
I don't think I've ever had that incident. I think that I have had less problems with it in like the actual sales aspect of it than like internal, like kind of management, kind of leadership, kind of more internal organization conversations, if that makes sense. I think that that's kind of where I have felt it the most. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. And I think it should be a confidence booster, right? Because that's probably worst case scenario. You've talked to a ton of people, you've done a lot of business dealings with a lot of people, both of you, and one of you was able to get the sale, and the other one, you haven't had somebody walk away. So for anybody that is afraid of that situation, it might be more of an anxiety thing. So just go for it, like you're saying.
Yeah.
you
Put the
my
blinders
father-in-law,
on.
my father-in-law calls it head trash. So get rid of the head trash.
Ooh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So what I saw the last time I think I saw you guys, it was back in December, and I know December is a crazy time for networking. I think you both had gone to like 7 or 8 Christmas parties in the span of like 6 days or something insane like that.
Mhm.
Are you guys still jointly networking together? Are you kind of tag teaming it and doing separate things? How do you guys approach being a couple, both in similar industries? Are you still doing that insane amount of networking, and are you doing it
Look,
together?
I will say people say don't work with family, but us being able to work together is one of the best things ever. And we go to anything and everything that we can go together, even if it doesn't pertain to the other person. So it just makes it better. It makes it more of a good time and easier to go about our business. But yeah, I mean, we do pretty often, pretty heavily for me, baseball season started, so I'm coaching right now. So it's kind of tough for me to go to a ton of networking events. I go to as many as I can, like during the day per se, during the week. And here and there, I'll get to go to some in the evening, but she's doing a lot more networking than I am right now. But yeah, anything and everything that we can do together, we go and do it. Even if it's on the weekend, we'll go do it.
Yeah, we got to find time to still be around each other with our busy schedules. So
Yeah,
when we can
for
network,
sure.
when we can network together, it's definitely something that we enjoy doing. And he's got baseball right now, and baseball season is wild for our household, but also the real estate industry, residential real estate industry, the spring market is here and it is super busy. So I feel like my best times to network is like Q1, Q3, Q4. Q2 is definitely a hard time for me to get out there because we're doing lots of closings and processing files and things like that I have to keep my head on to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Same for me. I mean, really, once the weather starts to warm up, people get rained on and roofs are leaking and this and that. Then they start finally calling you because roofing is one of the things where it's out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people, and they don't understand that if you wait too long, you got issues on your roof. You're waiting too long, it's gonna be a little bit too late, and then you're gonna be spending some big money doing some of those things. So right now, as soon as it gets warm and people start getting rained on, it's just so busy. So networking is kind of few and in between right now, but outside of this time period, I mean, yeah, we rock and roll. We're going.
So when you say networking, are you guys are you just doing in-person events? Do you guys do things online? Are you doing like walk me through that? What is networking for you guys?
Well, for me, I mean, and I'm Haley can speak on the online stuff more so than I can. I mean, I don't really do much online kind of networking at all. I
Really?
I really, I mean, yes, LinkedIn. I mean, that's the biggest online networking for me. But I like putting a handshake in a meeting and saying hello and grabbing some coffee. So that's where I try to spend most of my time. But I mean, LinkedIn has been one of my biggest successes. People, walk around and people are like, "Hey, send this to Tyler, let him share it. He's doing great on LinkedIn. He's everywhere on LinkedIn." So as far as that aspect, I mean, that's where I'm spending my networking online is LinkedIn. So
Yeah, for
So
sure.
going back to the fact that all of us are kind of in a little bit of a legacy industry. And what I mean by legacy industry is it's dominated by a lot of in-person events. It's a lot of word of mouth deals. We're still seeing a lot of dated websites. Haley, I know you're pretty familiar with that aspect of things. So when we are working within a legacy industry, why is it beneficial for young professionals to even be on LinkedIn if you have a lot of people that you're working with that might not be? Is it something that you still recommend trying to keep up with a little bit? Am I wrong? Are there people from this industry that are active on there? What does that look like?
I'll speak to that 100%. I think having young and fresh perspectives and young blood in this industry, in both of our industries, which we have overlap with the commercial side of things, but I would say 75% of my time goes towards our residential division. And I definitely have gotten our firm on social media and using my profiles as well as the Hanger Law profiles. I think that I'm still trying to keep up with my LinkedIn presence, but I'm in more of a B2C environment. I'm really trying to connect with our realtors that are in Hampton Roads. I'm trying to connect with buyers and sellers so we can handle those closings for them. So I have had to shift and I've had to relearn how to use Instagram and Facebook, and I'm trying to start doing TikTok a little bit. So I've had to kind of shift that a little bit on my end, still trying to keep up with LinkedIn because I actually have agents on LinkedIn as well. But also, we are a full service law firm doing everything. So having a LinkedIn presence is still super important. I have one attorney. Obviously, we're a law firm, so there's a lot of legal rules with social media and client confidentiality and things like that. But I have one attorney who is totally against social media, like totally against social media. And so I kind of had to train him on like I had to show him, the impressions and what it was doing for our presence and creating that brand awareness. And so having to it's taken some time, but he's finally seen the difference it's made. So definitely super important in the industry. And like we talked about, I mean, having that new perspective and that new blood and having that marketing experience that I have, I think that also helped those conversations as well.
So, for a young professional that's trying to emerge in one of these industries, whether it's commercial roofing, it's in the legal sector, do you recommend that they get a LinkedIn profile? Do you recommend that they just try and go first with the networking events? I know both of you said that that's how you tested it out in the industry to make sure that that was something you liked. How do you recommend that they go about connecting people? Because it sounds like you guys, you're mainly on Facebook, you're on you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram. So it might not be the best idea for young professionals at that point to connect with those people on LinkedIn, or is it still a good idea?
Still definitely a good idea. Absolutely. I mean, I'm still checking LinkedIn once or twice a week. Hopefully I'm trying to get to messages. I've even told people that were used to me being on LinkedIn every day. Guys, I'm not on here every day anymore. Shoot me an email or something. But it's definitely a good idea. Still keeping that presence up. And I mean, all of our leadership and our attorneys minus one are all on LinkedIn. So they're all there, and that's a great way to connect, especially if you're looking for a job in the industry. Absolutely a great way to connect. It's a great way to build your connections, to build your network, no matter what industry you're going in, especially Hampton Roads. When I used to do LinkedIn training, I would always say that the Hampton Roads community, the 757, like a lot of the professionals are on LinkedIn. So it's a great way to start a profile and start that presence for yourself, no matter what industry I think you're going into.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if you're not in the industry, like when I wasn't even in a new role yet, I was teaching and I was on LinkedIn. I mean, and I was just, posting about things that I'm doing and just finding a way to make it personable and make my LinkedIn kind of like a profile where you can learn about me kind of thing. LinkedIn it's a great tool. And honestly, I don't use any of the other platforms for my work. It is all LinkedIn. And I use LinkedIn every single day. I check it every single day. I might not post every day, but I'm reacting to somebody's post or I'm commenting on something. When I go somewhere, even if I'm just driving down the street, I'm thinking of what can I do so I can make a post for LinkedIn this week? What am I going to post on LinkedIn tomorrow? What can I find on these roof inspections that would be a good engaging post on LinkedIn? So I mean, yeah, for me, I use LinkedIn every single day. I wasn't on it until Haley got me on it, and I had the best trainer on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I wish I would have done it earlier.
Yeah. Well, I want to shift gears just a little bit, still touching on that networking, but offline. So, Haley, as far as I know, you have completely built and rooted two professional networking groups in the area. I don't know if you have any more that I just don't know about. Walk me through that. I know you're still highly involved in those. Is that something that you recommend everybody try and do if they're really serious about growing a professional network? Do you recommend that they try and start their own thing, or do you recommend they just feel the need? Why did you go down that path?
Yeah, good question. Yes, they are still running, and I'm doing everything in my power to keep those things going, and to have some awesome hosts. We have the 2025 calendars scheduled and booked for both groups, Downtown Norfolk Ladies and Peninsula VA Ladies. So I'm already looking ahead to 2026 just so we can have good hosts. But anyway, yeah, so I was doing so much networking. So before I got into sales, I was just doing business development. So business development in my mind is boots on the ground, shaking the hands. I was filling the pipelines of 3 account executives and sending them business, and then they would, walk through the proposal and close the deal. But what I was doing was going to every event I could find and think of on both the South Side and the Peninsula. So all over the 757. I even did some in Richmond at one point. And I was doing so much, and I was like, there's no group for women professionals. And that's kind of where the idea formed. I just wanted to kind of create an environment, a safe environment, a welcoming environment for women professionals for all different industries and all different like levels of leadership too. So all the way from your intern, your marketing, your HR, all the way up to your CEO, CFO, COO. We have all different people involved in both groups. And so I started, I want to say, babe, like a little over 2 years ago now. I think it's been a while. Yeah, so I started the Downtown Norfolk Ladies. It's Downtown Norfolk Ladies, but it's spelled Downtown NFK Ladies. I started that, and the Peninsula, I was really involved in the Peninsula Chamber and the Peninsula area, and they were like, Haley, come and start one on our side of the water. So 6 months later, I started the Peninsula VA Ladies, and they have grown so much. I mean, it's been incredible just to see how much the women enjoy it and the connections that they get to make through it. You asked what I encourage someone to do that. Was that the question?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would say it is super time consuming. It's, the pressure to find good hosts and to be able to, when someone hosts us, when I'm saying that is when someone hosts us, we try and go to a different business organization each month so we can just kind of learn about what they do, who they are, and the value that they're bringing to the community. So tomorrow for my Peninsula Ladies group, United Way of the Virginia Peninsula is hosting tomorrow morning. So, and we do fun groups too. So like Freedom Boat Club is hosting us on both sides of the water. So we're going to do a cruise. So things like that. So anyway, I don't know if I would encourage someone to do that off the bat. I would say, maybe getting involved in one and maybe before starting your own, maybe talking to someone that has done that to understand the commitment and the things that go along with that and like fully understanding that. To be honest with you, my group has grown. It started off with literally 3 women. Like my group has grown so much that I never would have, I'm grateful for it. I would never would have imagined it growing so much. But I mean, I think we're at like 275 women on just the Downtown Norfolk Ladies list. So it's a lot to, just keep up with and send out that calendar invite and keep things moving. But I absolutely love doing it. That was probably too much of information, but I hope I answered your question.
No, absolutely. I'm thinking from the perspective of not necessarily people that are in Hampton Roads, but people that are in other states, other regions that are maybe notice that there's a gap, notice that there needs something to be filled, but they also have another job. They're also doing a lot of networking. So I guess from your response, maybe feel it out and then really know that it's going to be a commitment and investment of your time if it's going to get off the ground.
Yeah, and make sure, like you said, like it's a gap. Like I said, I know I was going to all the chambers, I was going to all the other organizations, and I realized there wasn't like a women's non-industry specific group. Like if there really is a gap and you understand the commitment, maybe start one and not 2. That might be a good piece of advice. But yeah, for sure. It's definitely been great.
Or have some help, it seems like.
Have a co-host or something. He always offers to come and help me and take video content and stuff.
That's awesome. That's the strength of being a couple and being able to work together. To be honest, I don't think that I could do what you guys do. I don't think there's a lot of couples that could do that. I think is that ever challenging, seeing each other a lot at work and then coming home and seeing each other a lot at home? Or you guys, you're fine?
Never. It's great.
No, we love it. We love it. I think the biggest challenge for us, and this is probably all couples, honestly, is turning off work. Like we talk about work so much, and we like literally when we're traveling and we're in sales, so we have to be available for our clients all the time. And in real estate, both sides of real estate, I mean, when he's getting lead calls at nighttime or whatever, and I have a closing on Monday and have to make sure things are going smoothly on a Sunday, we have to have our phone on us and be available. But conversations about work, I think that's probably the hardest thing for us is like, okay, phones off, work combos off, like this is us time. So
can you guys have pets? Do you have pets?
That's a sore subject. We tried.
Oh, I
get it. Haley is highly allergic to animals. Like it is like deathly. She just can't do it. We tried and we went the hypoallergenic route and got like the most hypoallergenic dog you could have, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So we tried, but no. We have friends that have beautiful dogs that we love going to see though.
There you go.
Yes. We're like dog auntie and uncles.
Yeah.
That's
100%.
all.
100%.
So then I guess moving away from the sore subject of
No, it's okay. It's really not that sort of subject.
well, that's good. That's good. I didn't want to strike a nerve there. So Tyler, I know that you're still how long you said 2 years you've been in commercial roofing now?
No, I guess technically I've been here for a little over a year, but I didn't really start full time until June. So I'm not even at my 1 year mark yet.
Okay, so this is a perfect question. Then how are you going about building trust with people? Because I'm sure you've heard it. Oh, I've been alive devil longer than you've been here. How do
Oh
you
yeah,
go
I've heard
about
that.
building trust
Heard
with
that a million
people
times.
that have
Um,
been alive much longer than you?
yeah, the biggest thing for me has been not being too pushy. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Just try and make friends. That's the way I go about my business is if I have plenty of friends in the industry and plenty of people who like me and enjoy being around me, then when they need something, my name's going to be the guy who pops in their head. And even if it's a referral, um, just more so impacting people in a relationship sense and just showing people you care. Really, they really do start to trust you. For me in this industry, it's not really all about making money. We all want to make money, right? We all want to make sales. It's how can I impact others? How can I help others be successful? And when I go about my business as far as helping other people succeed, the rest will come and that'll happen. So to answer your question, how do I build the trust of these folks? It's really just sitting down, getting to know them, taking them out to coffee or having a phone call and not talking about work the whole time. Ask about their family, ask about what they got going on in their life. Let them. You got 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. Listen and don't talk, and that's why I try to build that relationship with people because you go and be too pushy and you just start talking away. They're gonna be done with you. So that's my approach, and that's where I found it valuable and successful for me.
Yeah. I think that's a great approach too, because you see a lot of, I've seen it before. I'm sure you guys have seen that young people that come in and it seems like there's no social awareness whatsoever. They're
Yeah.
just ready to sell. They're ready to go. And it's almost, it's a turnoff. Like you're saying, you're trying to, yes, we're all there to network and yes, we're all there to connect and meet each other. But to some extent, just having somebody really just rattle off about themselves, it's like a bad first date where they just keep talking about
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Or go on about their processes and how much everything costs. And then you get kicked to the curb. People don't want to hear that. They shut down. So
Yeah. I think building authentic and genuine relationships is so important in what all of us do. And I think that it's fun when you have a friendship with your clients as well. It makes work more fun. And I think both of us, Tyler and I, both take like a very connectors approach, like community connectors, like how can we add value to you? Like it might have absolutely nothing to do what we can actually do for you. Who can we connect you with? How can we brainstorm to help support your business? You need help with marketing of client events. Like how can we add value in other ways? But building those authentic and genuine relationships is the best approach. One of my agents that I work with on a daily basis, we've become friends and we bond over baseball. So he was FaceTiming me at the National Stadium the other day, just showing me the game. So having that kind of relationship, I think, with our clients, we both take that approach, and it's definitely been the best approach, and it makes it way more fun too.
yeah, it makes work way more fun. You go to an event and you see somebody you like, and you go to a networking event, and sometimes you got the people who stand in the corner don't really know what's going on, but you go to a networking event, you know everybody in the room because you made friends, then you're having a blast, and it's just a good time.
Yeah. I like that you said connector, Haley, because there are different types. I think there's 3 different types of people at networking events, 3 different types of personalities. You've got the takers, you've got the givers, and you've got the connectors. And the ones that take are kind of what we talked about earlier. They just want to talk about themselves and they're just there for the business. You've got the givers who are on the complete opposite end of that spectrum that just want to help out so much that they kind of miss what they're trying to do. But then you have the connectors, which I feel like is a really good sweet spot to get into. And I think is really good advice for just about anybody is if you are able to make a connection, facilitate a connection between somebody you met at one event and then somebody you met at another event, it not only helps for your credibility, but then also helps for later on because you did something good for them so that they're more likely to help you. So I really like that you use that word.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Tyler, brand new, still almost about a year. How do you go into a networking event not knowing anybody? I guess you had Haley to kind of help you out. But I'm sure
Yeah, I
there's
had
been a
to.
time where you haven't known a soul. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I had the world's best connector teaching me the ways. But going into an event knowing absolutely nobody, it's kind of filling the room out and inserting yourself. It's hard, right? Networking is one of the hardest things to do, and going up and budging into a conversation where it's a group of people, kind of in their own little clique in the corner. That's one of the hardest spaces to dig into and really get after. So it was more so just kind of stepping out of my comfort zone. I can talk to anybody. I can talk to a wall and make friends with it. I mean, it's just one of those things that God blessed me with, was being able to make friends. So I really pride myself on that. So I mean, when I go to an event and I know absolutely nobody, it's insert myself, introduce myself, and just say hello. And it's one of the things. Hey, I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt. My name's Tyler. Just wanted to say hello, and then the conversation just starts flowing, and it's seamlessly easy there. As long as you can hold a conversation, you get some people who they aren't able to hold a conversation, and then it kind of dies, and you're moving on to the next area. But you start talking to those people, and like I said, asking them about what they do, their family, where they're from, that kind of thing, and then the rest of it comes. That's where the work comes from. That's that connection and that relationship that we were talking about a few minutes ago, just one at a time.
So earlier you guys said something about you're not just trying to get to know what the person does, but you're trying to get to know all aspects of them, their family, what's going on, what movies they like, what sports teams they like. How do you keep track of the thousands of people that you know? Do you just have a really good memory, or is there some kind of note system? Are you guys just working off each other? How do you remember all of that?
I'm really bad at it. Haley's really good at it. She remembers everything. So
Are you taking notes then if you're bad at it?
no, it's just one of the things that is genuine in me. It comes back up, and you might not remember every single little detail, but you remember the gist of it. But I will tell you, I will remember when somebody's a New York Yankees fan. So go Sox. That's the one thing that I do remember.
I think that, so I'll plug what I just learned at a conference the other day, but I truly should have a note system, and that's a fault. I do not. I am really bad at tracking notes and things like that. But I think like you said, like when you have a genuine conversation with someone, and normally when you start talking about those personal things is when you can make the connection with them. And I think once you do that, it's a little bit easier to remember. But social media is an amazing tool that you can go and look at things like their kids or where they went to school or whatever thing that you guys talked about. Normally you can find that way as well. So that's what we use. And we also talk about it personally too, between Tyler and I, so we can help each other keep up with who we're meeting. But I will say, I just learned the other day, and I'm sure people listening to this have used this, but I'm sure everyone uses ChatGPT, and there is you can go in and make a thread. So I've actually done this, and I've actually used it for some of my agent meetings, but like a thread, and you name it. I named mine Luna. I called her my sales assistant, and I verbalized in that thread what I need from each meeting. So when I have a meeting, what's important is their name, their brokerage, and what we chatted about, what connections we made, do they have kids, blah, blah, blah. Are they into sports? And then I go into like, what are their goals for this year, things like that. And so every time I have a meeting, I just go get in the car and I take 60 seconds to like microphone that into Luna, who is becoming a fabulous tool. And then she'll spit out like the important things lined up in that order, and then I can just go and look at that thread whenever I need to. So it's a great little sales assistant plug there. So that's been super helpful the past few weeks. I've been using that.
Can you walk me through that a little
Yeah.
bit more, just for
Okay.
people that might not have as much experience with ChatGPT?
I'm pulling it up. Okay, so if I pull it up, it's going to start talking. So when you have a ChatGPT account, you have to have like an account. So you have to like have your name registered. You have to build your account. When you have your different threads in ChatGPT, like your different conversations, it's like if you have it on a desktop, it's on your left, and you can click new thread, and then you can name it. You can, mine's literally Luna Sales Assistant. Name it so you don't lose it in all your threads. And then you tell this thread what you're going to use it for. So I'll just give you an example. Hey, Luna, I'm going to use you as my sales assistant. I have 5 to 10 meetings a week with different realtors that I'd love to partner with. These are the conversations I have. I need to be able to brain dump everything into this thread, and you organize it accordingly based off of name, brokerage, any connections that we made. Are they into sports? What's their goals for this year? What's their production? Things like that. And then that's it. Like, she knows what to do now. So then I literally get in the car and I'll hit the microphone. I'll go into my Luna thread, which I just pinned it at the top of my ChatGPT account. And I click the microphone. Who did I meet with? Blah, blah, blah. 60 seconds to 2 minutes. And then Luna will organize it for me in the order I told her to do it 2 weeks ago when I set up the thread. And then I can literally, it stays there. So I can just go back and see what meetings I had a month ago and what conversations we had. So that's a great little sales tool note tip.
Yeah. And it's not just sales. I feel like that could be good and useful for, I feel like if you need help doing, I don't know, writing emails or with your grammar, you can have a grammar thread, you can have your sales thread. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't use ChatGPT for everything. It's good for a lot of things, but sending somebody an email through ChatGPT is very obvious sometimes. So just
switch it up, or
be a little careful.
Especially if you're emailing with someone consistently, you can sometimes tell. But it's a good tool. It's a good tool.
No, it is a really good tool. And hey, nothing is too smart for Luna. So I'm glad you just taught me something too. I'm about to start using Luna.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How'd you come up with the name Luna?
I don't know. It just hit me one day.
I like it. I like it. Interesting. So I want to talk about that a little bit because I've seen that. I tell people all the time, you can use ChatGPT for everything. I don't care. Don't use it for your social media post. It can affect your position in the algorithm because it's very clearly when you're using the words boost and efficiency and just words that might not be a average word, people can really tell and the algorithms can tell and people don't really, it's not authentic. So I guess you're saying the same thing with the emails that people can tell as well in the emails. So maybe just try and keep it a little bit human written there too.
Yeah, for sure. I learned something else about ChatGPT. I'll share one more tip. So I went to an AI conference, and I learned about so many different apps. Like, I do a lot of video content for social, especially like my Instagram and Facebook and stuff, just like publicizing the training events I'm putting on for agents and things like that. And so I always like write a quick little script and I read it, and then I just hope to remember like what speaker we're having or whatever. And so there's this app called Captions, and you can like write the script. Have you heard about it, Lauren? Okay, so I've been utilizing that a lot with my videos. So it puts the script up and like how you want to say it, like it brings up the words. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a transcriber. They use it in like
it's
TV.
So like when you're talking, it tells you like what's your next word, like on the
video prompter.
Yeah, it's like a video prompter. Yes, exactly. So, but it uses your script, so that's super cool. But yes, utilizing AI, I like it a lot, especially because we're all super busy and we like to create efficiency and make tasks a bit quicker, right? But utilizing it in a way that is, like you said, still being authentic, and your social media and your email correspondence and everything. So you have to be careful with that for sure.
Yeah. So you're talking a lot about AI and social media and all of these tips, and I think they're great. I also think that in our industries, we're dealing with people that aren't as familiar with using social media to advertise what they do. Again, it's traditionally built on word of mouth and connections and emailing people. So, how are you guys going about convincing other people in your office, in your industry, that it is a beneficial tool that they should use? Or you guys, is that just still something that it's like pulling teeth on?
Yeah, my company, I mean, we're a very highly reputable roofing company in the area, and we have a lot of word of mouth clients and a very good reputation. So the social media aspect, I mean, it wasn't very heavy when I got here. There was some Instagram and Facebook and all those things, but when you look at who's using Instagram and Facebook, when I go on Instagram, I'm looking at sports. I'm not looking at roofs. That is more of Haley's area, right? Haley can focus on the Instagram and the Facebook. So I kind of steered him away a little bit from that, and I said, "Give me the LinkedIn access. I'm going to post on the Roof Services LinkedIn. I'm going to use my LinkedIn to bring us brand awareness." Um, and they didn't really push back at all. They were all for it. And then when I showed them the results of how many people are seeing, and you got thousands of people seeing these posts, and they're just like, wow, this is great. And so now it's like, hey, Tyler, do all of the social media, go do it. But it's just brand awareness for us and for me. So it was it's not really tough because everybody else does use it now. I mean, people who are in my positions and a lot of these decision makers, they use LinkedIn because it showcases their business. So that was one thing that was big for us was let me post about projects we've done. Let's show the Hampton Roads and Carolinas and everybody how good our work is and what services we can offer. I mean, and they were all for it. They loved it, and now it's something that is just part of my to dos under my job duty list, and it's one of my responsibilities to take on every day. So
I think that can play into the respect that we were talking about earlier is you might not have the 30 years of experience that some of these other people have, but you have significantly more experience in this world, which makes you that much more valuable. So I think really going back to the beginning of our conversation, if somebody's trying to get into a industry that they don't have that much experience in, they can find other ways that they can provide value to companies, and it doesn't just have to be that tenure.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Fresh perspectives and new blood, I think, is so important. And you bring other things like social media and AI knowledge and things like that that they didn't have before. So fresh perspectives is super important for sure.
So, what's one thing that you guys wish you knew before starting out? I know you guys had each other to
Mm.
kind of help each other through a lot of the work challenges, but if you could go back, what is one or two things that you really wish that you would have known so that it might have changed the trajectory of what you're doing?
That is a great question. Haley, go ahead.
I don't know. You mean like
Anything,
in
anything.
general? Like,
Yeah,
I
with
don't
your
know. I don't know. I have some amazing parents that really equipped me, I feel like. And my dad they're both entrepreneurs. My dad is a sales coach, so he has a sales training business. And then my mom, she's a women's life coach. So I kind of have like the best people in my corner, I feel like, to equip me and answer all my questions and be a resource to me. But something that I wish I knew. I think something that I wish I knew, and this kind of goes back to the age thing that we talked about before, but I think that, when you are young and you're entering a new world, new industry, new career, and things like that, it can be intimidating. But knowing that you have people that want you to be successful and having those people to lean on, like, it's not always competition, right? Like, you can be friends with your competitors, you can support each other. But having that circle and like leaning on them, relying on them, and not being scared to mess up, to ask those questions, and knowing that they want you to be successful, I think is important, especially when you're young and new, and it can be intimidating. So I think that that's something I wish I probably had in my mind.
I'd say this is more of like a character trait kind of thing, but I wish I knew how to be more patient. When I jumped into this and started getting into it, I wasn't really patient. I want to see results instantly, um, and it's a process. Like commercial roofing is a process. It's big jobs, and it's not something people are going to decide on overnight. And it takes time to make friends and build those relationships. And I have now grown to be very patient. But that was my biggest flaw when I first started for the first 4 or 5 months was patience. And if I would have known then what the process is like now, I would have been a lot more patient. And I wish that I would have learned how to do that earlier.
That's really good.
That's a good one.
I'm surprised you didn't have a lot of patience working as a PE coach with the kids. I feel
That's
like that.
It's a different kind of patience.
It's a different kind of patience.
Okay. It makes sense. One's working with children, the other one's with adults. So I get that. Wow.
I think that is really good. And I think that not only learning like how long, building that trust and rapport and that relationship to build that business relationship, but also just the sales process and different when you're in sales. I know a lot of people aren't, but when you are in sales, different industries have different sales process and have different sales timelines. So going from software to marketing to real estate to seeing what Tyler's doing with commercial roofing, like such different sales process, such different timeline, different times of the year impacting things. So seeing all of that and just seeing like Tyler's sales process is super long, super long compared to what I've ever done. So I think that's a super eye opener just looking at different industries.
Makes sense. Big investment for people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a job, that closed in a week. I've had customers call that say, "Hey, you guys sent me a proposal 2 years ago. Can we reevaluate this?" So,
Yeah.
I mean, it can really vary drastically.
Yeah. The fact that you said patience, I think, is really good because I think that could be one of the top complaints that the older generations have about the younger generations is that lack of patience because they grew up, they didn't have the phones, they didn't have social media's business was just word of mouth. And then you're not going to find out till the next time you see that person in person. And so with our generation growing up a little bit more accustomed to social media, I know we didn't have it our entire childhood. But that's one thing that we're so conditioned for instant gratification. You want that instant sale. You meet that person, you want it to turn into a deal. You make that connection. You want it to turn into something right away. And it might not ever. And learning to be okay with that and learning to even appreciate those opportunities, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned in that. So that's a really great point, Tyler.
And for me, it was one of the things that I wanted to be so successful in something so brand new that patience was very, very low.
That's a good point too. I mean, the hustle culture, I guess, as you would call it, is just trying to get a job right away, and then you're instantly wanting to be good at it. And I guess that's just not the reality.
I started to play golf because of it, so you got to be very patient in golf.
You do, absolutely. Are you good at it now?
I'm okay. I'm not Tiger Woods or nothing, but
you're
I'm
working
better.
towards it.
I
Absolutely.
can go to a networking event and golf with the guys, so it's good.
Yeah. That's another great way. There's so many different ways to network. We didn't even really touch on it, but it doesn't have to just be in a group over coffee or going out and just hanging out in these one-off like networking groups. It could be out on the golf course. There are deals that get done kind of everywhere too. So that's, I guess, just insert yourself where you can. Good advice.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be the biggest group of people. I feel like some of the best conversations are in a smaller, more intimate group, like a foursome on the golf course. Like those are normally where you're getting to have those more productive conversations.
Absolutely. So where do you think your futures will take you? You guys have accomplished so much in your early 20s. Looking ahead, what's the plan? Where do you guys see yourselves? Where do you want to go?
Our motto is work hard, play hard, Lauren. So
play harder. Work
yes.
hard, play harder.
So we try so hard, and we're still figuring it out, but we try so hard to find that balance of, we do work sometimes 50, 60-hour weeks, but we need to find the time to travel and play and go to the baseball game and do all the things that we really enjoy. So we're trying to figure that out as well. We still haven't figured it quite out, but we're working on it.
Yeah, it's kind of day by day. I would like to say I'd be leading the sales team at Roof Services just because we keep on growing, but I mean, who knows what the future holds there. But I love it. So it's kind of hard to look past what we're doing right now, especially with it being new for me and having such a good time and enjoying where I'm at. So kind of staying where my feet are right now.
Yeah. And just making sure that you're able to insert some fun throughout the course of your year instead of just punting that, because the more that you're able, at least I found the more that I'm able to take some time off and enjoy, even if it's in like one day in the middle of the week every quarter, just something to really take a break is almost refreshing and can almost boost productivity. So I think that's
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we kind of look at what the next trip's going to be, so we have something to look forward to. We were in Paris and we booked a trip to New York City, so it was just like we're going to get back from Paris, and then now we're going to have something to look forward to in 6 months. So
Yeah.
we kind of just try to keep something fun on the calendar, something that we both enjoy to look forward to going to do together. So
how long was that flight to Paris?
9 hours,
Ooh.
8 hours.
Yeah, from New York. Yeah, we flew to JFK from Norfolk and then JFK to Paris. Going to Paris was super easy peasy because we flew overnight, and I think it was only like 7 hours there, but
Yeah, I think it was
flying
7.
flying back was 9. Like, I don't know, coming back was much longer. It was bizarre, but it was
I don't
during the
know.
day. So poor Tyler, I was losing it a little bit.
Yeah. I get it. I'm not a good long flight person. I think I have like a 2.5 hour threshold, 3 hour
Yeah.
threshold. After that, it's no more. No more.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was amazing and beautiful, and the culture is just it was a once in a lifetime trip for sure. So I told him next is Italy.
Yeah.
2026, 2026.
Italy is beautiful. I highly recommend. We went on
Yeah.
a cruise and we did the Mediterranean, and we went to all the heavy
Oh,
hitters. So Tower of Pisa, Colosseum,
Oh
Grassi,
yeah,
France, all those
yeah, that's
fun
sick.
places. It was awesome.
that's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Very cool.
And I think it's worth noting too, Haley, that I did see an out of office notification from you when you were in Paris. So I think that is beneficial, because as hard as you guys work, it is really important to, whenever you do have the time, actually take it off and actually,
Yeah.
instead of like trying to answer work stuff while you're on vacation, just being able to flip that switch, turn it off, and really enjoy when you're taking that time.
Absolutely.
Unless you get a contract while you're there.
Did you get a contract while you were there?
I did.
Oh my
I did. So that
gosh.
kind of just capped it off.
Yeah. Hey, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a good thing, though. It's a good thing. If you
Oh
are
yeah,
going to get any work,
100%.
that's the best thing to get.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's so important. And I think Tyler and I talk about this too, especially when we travel. Like, it's great to have a team we can rely on to back us up and be there um to keep things moving when we're gone. So I am super grateful for that. I have a little work bestie that does everything and handles everything for me when I'm gone. So super grateful for that as well.
Awesome. Well, do you guys have anything that you feel like we missed? I know we talked a lot about young professionals and what that means in legacy industries, why it matters to network, why it matters to put yourself out there. Is there anything that you feel like we missed that I totally should have talked about a little bit?
I think that you did a great job. I think, just to recap, I think that, being a young professional, like, take those risks and trial by error, like, figure out what makes you happy. Tyler and I talk about all the time, doing something that you love is so important, and enjoying what you do is important. So finding that, you might not find it, early 20s, but make sure you do find what you love and take those risks and set those goals. We do tons of goal setting with our family, with just the two of us. Like, make sure you're setting those goals and, like, reflecting on those goals, quarterly, yearly, making sure, like, what are you doing to make sure you can make those goals, or what can you do with your support system to help you make those goals. And then networking too, build those networks and do it very authentically and build those relationships. Go into it with an abundance kind of point of view and perspective, and don't go in there just, grounding out the business, and try and build those relationships, because it will come back around for you. But I think that you did a great job. Tyler, anything else?
Yeah, no, I think what you're doing, Lauren, is so cool, and I really appreciate you having us on this.
Absolutely.
I think it's gonna do very well, and this was really fun. This was my first kind of podcast thing to do, and getting to do with Haley was awesome. So thank you for
Yeah, this
having
was
us.
super
And
cool.
anytime you want to do it again, you just let us know.
Heck yeah. Well, you guys have the scheduling link. I think this is really valuable because you do, even though we do work with people of all ages, and I know that some of the times advice in these conversations are only going to be relevant for some groups of people. I think this is a really generally very relevant conversation because even in their 30s, 40s, people still have shifts in careers. They still have questions about social media and modern day networking and how to approach situations. And you guys are doing a really great job. And also, if there's any couples, it can be really reassuring that you can still work together and not pull each other's hair out. So,
yeah, absolutely. If you made it this far into the podcast and you're on the fence about making that jump, take the chance and take the risk. Go do it.
heck yeah. People will watch it after too. So, all right. Well, where can people find you? They want to get a new roof. They want to get a new lawyer for all of their real estate transactions. Can they reach out to you guys at?
Yeah, I mean, reach out to us on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. My number is 757-737-5223. Always have my phone on me, and ready to help.
Yeah, same. I mean, right here on LinkedIn, just drop me a message. And we can do it. Let's get together. I'm not really on the other stuff so much, so let's do the LinkedIn. Or you can just call our office, Roof Services. We're on Highland Road, so just give us a call and ask for me.
Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much to everybody watching or watching after the fact. Thank you so much. If you have any questions for the two of them, feel free to drop a comment and we can absolutely connect you. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lauren.